Alright, what's up everybody? Welcome back to The Reach. My name is Thomas. As many of you guys are aware, Snake Discovery Build Off 2022 just happened. A bunch of the videos from the contestants are coming out. And you guys might know we actually won last year's. We weren't invited this year, but not because of hard feelings. They actually have some really cool multi-season type thing. So we will be back, just we weren't back this year. But it was super fun to see clips and sneak peeks of all the things that were happening on that day. Speaking of clips, I put together a bunch of clips from the videos that have been coming out. Garrett and I are going to react to them, and yeah, it'll be a good time. So without further ado, this is reacting to Snake Discovery Build Off 2022. So I put together a bunch of clips from Snake Discovery Build Off 2022 for you to watch because we couldn't make it there. So I guess second best is to just react to it.
I almost want to go back and watch all the 2021s again, but I guess we can
just close your eyes and imagine 6 hours of stress and you'll be there.
I think we got it.
You got it? Sweet.
Are you ready to meet this year's contestants?
I'm already sad that we're not there. Emily's just so excited. I'm like, I want to go play.
Look how excited she is for you not to be there. Is that what you're saying?
That is sad also. Yes, maybe that's why she's so excited. I'm just having
you realize
a little
other
bit
people can have fun without
I'm
you.
having some FOMO.
Hunter Hoke.
What's up,
Chameleon
Hunter?
Academy.
He's new.
Do this.
Adam with Wiccan's Wicked Reptiles.
Back at it with the ladder
Yeah,
again.
didn't he have like a step stool or something last year?
Yeah.
He's going even bigger this year. There he is.
Richard with the Tarantula Collection.
I'm pretty sure he's in West Virginia.
Oh, really?
He's like an hour or two from here.
Dave Kaufman's Reptile Adventures.
I
or
know
Dave
that guy.
Kaufman's
I know
Animal
that
Adventures,
guy.
or Dave Kaufman's Fishing Adventure. Whatever he's filming for today.
Oh, here it is, the scavenger hunt. Read and run, read and run.
Go, go, go.
Nice.
Oh my gosh, he almost cut that kid's. Did you see that? Wait,
Yeah.
play that back. Luke is like picking up a machete. Oh, there it is. Adam's determination to win overpowers
Dude,
Luke.
watch the hand placement. That's what scares me. If that kid
I
had big
know.
hand-
He's like yanking the blade.
Adam, we love you, man, but what are you doing?
Luke, don't put the blade right here when you pick it up, especially if you're anywhere near Adam, apparently.
I stole a machete from a child. I feel bad for it. But we won. Sorry, Luke. I didn't realize I was taking the machete from.
At least he owns up to
He
it.
owns up to it. We're proud of you.
Jeez, Adam.
Accept your responsibility.
He's proud of you.
For those of you that remember, last year, Garrett won first place.
Hey, we made it into the video. Check that out. Thanks, Al.
He gave me his plaque because he liked mine the best, so he surprise sent me his plaque that he modified to put my name on. So this year, if we win, we will be sending him our plaque. I 100% feel like he deserved to win.
I made a clock one time. Don't ask the background on this. I made a clock for my best friend one time. It was a pig cutout, and I would burn the numbers in.
Yeah.
And it took me like 6 hours, and the best results I got was like crappily burnt in numbers that weren't quite evenly spaced. But that's like,
There's a
there's
gecko on
shading.
there.
There's literally shading in that.
That I've done.
Do you
some
have
pretty-
experience, lots of experience wood burning?
I kind of do. I've done it before.
Huh.
Be lying if I said I hadn't. I even cheated on that one. I did it faster because the outside's done with a torch. I was like, I don't want to spend that time. Torched it.
I mean, it looks cool.
But out of all of them, I did like Elle's enclosure. Out of everybody had great enclosures last year, but I loved hers, and I was like, oh, that's cool. That deserves to win. I was like, hey, if I win, I'll send you my plaque or something like that. And she's
Yeah.
like, ha ha ha, ha, yeah, right.
Everybody thinks
And
it's
then I was
jokes,
like-
but it's
Right.
all
And
about
then I was like,
follow-through,
oh,
man.
you don't think so? Now I really am going to. So yeah, when we got the first place thing and they put our logo on there, which was really cool of Ed and Emily, I just took a piece of pallet wood like what we won with,
Crappy
slapped
chic,
it over
man.
the top,
Crappy chic.
literally screwed it onto the pallet, packed it up, and sent it. I don't know if they expected to get that or not.
I
but-
think the definition of crappy chic is taking one nice thing and one really crappy thing and combining them to make something that's somehow nicer.
Nah, I just cover the world in
Somehow
crappy chic. Like,
nicer.
this is too nice. Let's
It's like the Sherwin-Williams quote, like paint the world,
Paint
where
the
the paint
world.
dripping down, but it's just like crappy
Palette the
chic.
world.
Palette wood the world, crappy chic the world, chic the world.
My favorite, I voted for his last year, and
She voted
I
for
was
ours.
gonna plaque too.
But sometimes the easiest things in life
The reason I
can
actually threw this clip in is when I was going through videos, I was like, dude, I've never seen this guy's content before, but it's edited like a movie. It was inspiring. You just have to watch.
become the most difficult. Really feeling the pressure here. I'm ready for a shower and a nap. I didn't realize this would be such a workout. I'm very uncomfortable that you're filming me doing this. I enjoy making enclosures for my tarantulas and snakes and geckos and, all the different animals that I keep. I don't make them for awards or accolades. It's not a competition. I make them for the enrichment of the animal and for my own personal enjoyment because I like seeing my animals, my tarantulas, in a more naturalistic environment.
This is the kind of guy that made me do the build that I did last year, even though we weren't competing directly against him. When I looked at like Reptiliatus and all those things, and they were picking all these people to bring on, they were either, like bigger YouTubers or people who were very adept at building naturalistic enclosures that they brought to the competition. I was like, I got to come way out of left field. And that's where it all came from, because I'm watching these other guys' videos, studying the competition last year.
This guy's clearly very good at building a lot
Yeah.
of nice enclosures.
Yeah.
It's
Lucas
so
the
nice.
Spider. Before we jump into this one, I'd just like to point out, for your convenience, use a basket. I think that would have really helped the contestants this year. That's my tip for you guys. As last year's winner, use a basket.
Strats for next year's.
We should probably honestly start strategizing about our 2024 thing. The problem was my winning build came to me in a dream. I don't know how to replicate that.
Melatonin gives me weird dreams every time.
Welcome back to part 2 of the Snake Discovery Enclosure Build-Off held right here at Snake Discovery. As you may recall, we have 10 amazing reptile YouTubers right now in our classroom building 4x2x2 enclosures to the best of their ability, using only what
shop
products have been
selection.
donated by our very generous sponsors. Time's up in
They
5,
already had them
4,
siliconed in.
3, 2,
That was
1. Time's up!
This is like the Great British Bake Show of snakes. This is what it feels like. You ever watch that show?
No.
My family would always sit down and watch it together. It was like super weird at first because I was like, this is not the type of TV show I would watch normally. One time when I was visiting home and I was like, this show's actually so good. It's like you told me, My Little Pony. You said the exact same thing about My Little Pony.
Dude, My Little Pony is legit.
This is our enclosure. Maddie and I made this. We had a Mexican black king snake in mind, but really
Let's just look at it before they pitch it. What do
Yeah,
you like?
I like the backlit cave. I don't know. I don't want to turn it off when the snake is in there. That graveyard looks legit. That looks like something from a black and white movie.
I'm loving the fog machine. It looks like you used the the Mr. Fog or whatever to like create this like graveyard ambient.
And not only like did they do it, but they implanted it deep in the back of the cage so the fog rolls out through. So it gives a lot of depth.
And then this is our found item. There's a coffin, and
Maybe
then
grapes.
there's actually a hole inside the coffin. So the snake will go into the hole and goes down into this little underground hide. And there's
That's so sick.
So that's not, there's like acrylic there or something. That's not an entrance to the hide.
No,
the entrance
yeah.
is through a coffin. That is pretty cool.
It's such a creepy little like addition, like the zombies like underneath.
Okay, so here's Els. This is the one I'm supposed to win for if I want a plaque. I love the fact she took the extra time to stain the outside. Because those other ones are cool. I mean, they look unfinished.
Yeah.
But that's not maybe necessarily such a bad thing to be unfinished, because then whoever wins it, like I might want mine black, you might
Yeah.
want yours like a whitewash look. Anyways, go ahead. Let's get in because I'm excited to see what she's got here.
We set out to build a king snake tank, but really
Another king
any
snake.
small reptile that likes humidity can go in here. Also stained the outside because these enclosures are stainable, and we think that it gave it a finished look.
I love the functionality. All of our cages, even though they're not naturalistic, have that massive shelf. And so the way that they use that to create, they didn't bury it, but it's like this whole underneath area.
So this was made with some mint terribilis dark frost.
First off, this is, I think, Hunter, like levels above and beyond what your enclosure was last year. I liked your enclosure last year.
It was a gecko one last year, I believe.
Yeah, and he utilized that same kind of terracotta style,
Like the
painted background.
strata rock. type
Yeah.
thing.
But he kind of tied it in again this year, but really had a lot more elements being pulled together with this one. So good job, Hunter.
So this was made with some mint terribilis dart frogs in mind, which I think are a super cool color, and that's kind of why we went the route of having orange. I feel like they could either clash.
You want to watch?
Okay.
All right, go get
Grab
a
a
chair.
chair.
You can see in the back I have my personal item, which is
look at
this
that.
really cool fountain. It was a product that I
got a
bought, but then we
waterfall
did a lot
inside.
of modification, and we were pleasantly surprised when it still worked. You can see we have lots of plants,
That's gutsy.
especially ferns in here.
My name is Richard Stewart from the Tarantula Collective, and this is my enclosure.
All right, so here's the thing. Arachnids, 4-foot cage, build your animal a palace. I'm all for it, but it's pretty excessive, so it's kind of like, I don't know, hard to do, but there are a few arachnids that you can actually keep communally. Now, all of a sudden, instead of having like a disadvantage where you built this giant thing for a tiny animal, kind of like dart frogs, they're really tiny, but you wouldn't have just one. You'd probably have multiples. So with arachnids, it's hard to do a 4-foot cage, so that's genius that he went with that.
Was it skull? I always throw a skull in all of my enclosures for the most part, and I found this one, and it was a planter, so I knew I could.
I don't know why tarantulas guys do that.
It's pretty cool. I think that you could put about 100 tarantulas in there if you really wanted to.
100?
Imagine 100. I don't know if I've never held a tarantula.
No, he's saying they're communal. I don't know anything about tarantulas. Maybe he's just saying you could put like a bajillion tarantulas in there.
If you keep inverts, tarantulas, scorpions, anything like that, you better vote for me and not these other guys.
All right, so this is my creek.
Wow.
Good pitch.
Are those potatoes?
I'm getting the cave vibe now. Like those are stalagmites coming out of the bottom of the cave system. And it is kind of cool that they're overgrowing that monkey skull.
And I didn't take into consideration how many cans of great stuff this actually took, nor did I take into consideration how much it would keep expanding after you think that it's done expanding. So seeing that my cave idea wasn't going to work, I just kind of dove into the creative process. And
That is eerily beautiful in how it turned out. Knowing Dave, like he used to actually direct horror films and stuff like that. So I think that that actually is a good reflection of him and stuff.
Frogs, or really anything you want, but the entire idea is everything is functional.
That is cool. Now, that's a dart frog enclosure? Because that looks like a dart frog enclosure.
This enclosure is made for dart frogs.
Yes.
So really anything you want, but the entire idea is everything is functional. It has a bioactive substrate, it has a cleanup crew, the background they can climb on, the logs they can climb on, the moss is real, and everything's gonna grow.
That was cool. I really like the moss that goes up over that cork that he did. He had a lot of really cool details.
I'm with the Chameleon Academy, and in Earth's history there have been a number of extinction events. When the lords of the land fell, the gods abandoned their human followers and left them to their own devices. And so Earth is patient.
Definitely got a story behind this one.
Yeah.
She tries again. This time, she's going to start with isopods. Yes, this cage is designed specifically for isopods and springtails, but it's actually got 2 stages of life. The first stage is those isopods. And so, yeah, I am with the Chameleon Academy, but I also do the Reptile Entrepreneur podcast. And so I'm saying if you select your isopods correctly, you could have a little side gig in your bedroom.
Man's got story, functionality, and business all tied into one.
It's cool too because he's talking about growing the dirt thing, you know, and he's got the fog coming down one side to give it like a humid side and a dry side. I like that.
So sick.
This can actually, in the second stage of life, be for some of those small chameleons like carpet chameleons, jeweled chameleons, or the Brookesia, and you have a perfect chameleon cage.
Do you know what Brookesia is?
No.
A Brookesia chameleon? You should pull them up. They're awesome.
Whoa.
Right? You guys into that? So I really like that cage with this in mind. They were so hard for me to keep. And I'd love to know if you guys are out there keeping these captively, that would be great. But you can see how tiny they are. And the prey items for that would literally be either baby isopod springtails. They're so small that that's what they do in the wild. They go through the leaf litter and they eat the bioactive, you know, cleanup crews. So you could literally almost close that whole environment off with the live plants, the bioactive stuff, and these chameleons, and have one of those like enclosed environments that was
Come back in
self-sustaining.
500 million years, you're gonna find humans in there.
Is that how long it took?
I'm no scientist, like I said.
Stuart with WPS Reptiles and Badgerland Reptile Rescue in Kenosha, Wisconsin.
Bill's
and
a creative guy. I'm interested to see what he. I mean, already looks pretty cool.
X-wing peeking out from there.
Oh, is that what that? Yeah, that's cool.
Dagobah system. Luke Skywalker has crashed his X-wing and he is here to seek Yoda.
So this is
I made this with
Yoda
Universal Rock Stump. I used fake plants in this,
you
but
need
you
to get
can
like one of those green pixie frogs to throw in there.
Just name it Yoda.
With the big eye things, that almost like his ears.
I made Yoda's hut in the background out of some cocoa huts.
That's really cool.
Yoda's hut.
His house. Floating,
Dude, I'm a Star Wars junkie, man. I love this.
Hey,
Hi guys, I'm Luke from Luke.
That's Luke. That's the kid that bred the praying mantis. Came from him.
Bug Adventures, and this is our amazing enclosure that we built. So we've made it completely bioactive with springtails and isopods. We also have humidity gauges on both sides, along with a massive Gaboon Viper shed from our friends over at Entoxin's Venom Lab. And we actually made this for a rhino rat snake because that's the snake that we mostly specialize in. They're semi-arboreal, so we put in lots of climbing opportunities. And we also, they're also semi-aquatic, so we put in a very big water dish. And the reason why you should vote for me
they
is...
decorated the outside.
I also like how he took those pods and planted them. He used them as like natural planters. And then, do you see that Gaboon skin? It's not just plastered in there. He put a whole false wall in the back. Okay, so this is Garden State Tortoise.
First of North America. I'm Chris.
This is not the first time I've heard about Garden State Tortoise. Garrett's a big fan.
It's Casey. We're from Garden State Tortoise, and in this enclosure, we invite you to take a stroll through an American forest. Our personal item was this image in the background here that Casey went out behind our property into the wildlife refuge that we live on. She got low on the ground, and the whole vibe behind it is to feel like you are actually in the forest. And we just slapped it onto the back there with silicone. It's corrugated plastic, so
it's undeniable that background they chose adds miles of depth to this 100%. Enclosure. Look at the composition of it. I think these guys paid more attention to the composition. So in the photo, you have this log that goes up and under, and it's that picture, like the camera was down here on the ground when someone took a picture. So when you look in there, you feel like you are a little box turtle. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying?
It's not like you're looking down on the world.
Yeah, it's not the forest viewed from a 5-6 foot tall person, whatever, 7, 8 if you're Dave. Mm-hmm. But you look like you're going into the forest as a box turtle in this cage. The way you are getting drawn into it is because of their composition. Doesn't it make you feel like you want to walk over that and then under that log?
Forest. I want to be a box turtle now.
Right, yeah. It puts you in the animals, which is so cool. On the surface, looks like a subtle, naturalistic build, but the attention to detail in this one is pretty good. It's interesting to me to see how different they were this year. Yeah. You had a wider range. Mm-hmm. To me, the last time, everyone had kind of like large stone elements and, kind of that jungle environment. Here we have like northeastern United States. We have cave systems. We have interplanetary builds. There's then theme builds, graveyard, a children's museum. Yeah, Dave's crazy thing. It's really cool to see the diversity of the builds this year.
So now it's your turn actually to vote on what enclosure here is the best one for the 2022 enclosure build off. And I honestly don't know who's gonna win. There's so many amazing enclosures. Like everybody stepped up their game this year and really did a tremendous job.
Who would you vote for?
This may come out of left field, but I really like the idea of having 1 million tarantulas in one thing with the spider webs all over it. That would be so sick. But I did really like the box turtle people.
It looks good from all the way back here.
Yeah, that one's great. And I really like they're just all so good. But I really like the Dagobah one.
The what?
So which one would you vote for? You get one.
Oh my gosh, dude. Man, it might be the turtle people, man. I like the composition. You really sold me on that spiel.
Yeah?
Yeah.
All right. How about you?
Probably Luke's. I like the skin at the background.
You like Luke's?
It's like the little box right here that shows all that stuff. That's interesting.
That is cool.
Okay, who'd you vote for?
I really liked Adams. I think Adams was a very good enclosure. It was exactly what he set out to do with the dart frogs. You know what I'm saying? So that was a definite hit there. All right, based on the fact that it's probably the one I would want to end up with the most, I'm going to go with the Brachysia one from the Chameleon.
There you go.
Man. I don't know if it's easy to appreciate from where you're at, but I was there last year. The incredible amount of work it takes to fill out one of these cages in just 6 hours, especially because any plans you have going in can only be loose plans. You really don't know where you're going until you get there. And I have a tremendous amount of respect for you, like Dave, for example, who tried something so different that it became almost too difficult to fully realize the way that he wanted. That takes a tremendous amount of courage, because it's easy to create a nice little enclosure that looks good, but to really reach for something and actually pull it off is, the glory is there if you make it, you know, but then if you're faced with like, oh no, this is what I have, you know, presenting it at the end. And so for everybody that tried, and those contestants that really stretched and tried and reached out, kudos to you guys, man. I have so much respect for you, and I am honestly intimidated to pair up with the winners of this year, because these were incredible cages.